Carolina.
Hello, welcome to the first installment of Inside 380 for the year 2016. So, first of all, today we'll be talking about the AFC and the NFC championships. Then we will be talking about John Scott making an All-Star game. Then we will finish up, will LeBron ever bring a title to Cleveland? Our Inside 380 Player of the Week candidate, as we normally go by, is usually 5. This week we only have 4. And I really don't have stats for you. More so, it's just the eye test. The Player of the Week candidates are Chris Paul, who's been playing sensational since his boy Blake Griffin has been on the bench in a suit and tie. We have Stephen Curry, who always is stirring the pot and decimated the Cleveland Cavaliers last night. We have Kawhi Leonard, who leads the Spurs, who have the second best record in the league. And then we have Larry Fitzgerald, or a.k.a. the Hail Larry is what he did, to the Green Bay Packers and took your Arizona Cardinals to their second NFC championship in existence. We'll get back to you with more. Check out one of the 380 plays of the week.
Here they come, Will Allen again. Peyton gets back on his feet and throws to an open man. It's Sanders. Peyton ducked to avoid the contact with Will Allen. Realized he hadn't been touched, and then got up and completed the longest play of the game for the Broncos, 34 yards.
I know he was not touched. He went down, and I was going to say he gave himself up and made it, but he...
Hello, this segment of Inside 380 is called And Then There Were Four. You got the Cardinals and the Panthers, and then you have the Pats and the Broncos. First of all, let's talk about the NFC. You have one team that is top 2 in every offensive category except for their 8th in rushing, and their top 8 in all defensive categories. I'm talking about the Cardinals, led by Carson Palmer. Then you have the Panthers, 2nd in rushing, 1st in points per game, and a top 6 in every defensive category, far as run defense, yards allowed, and points allowed. Now, 1, Carson Palmer. 2, Cam Newton. 2, Heisman quarterbacks. First Heisman showdown by QB's postseason history, both being starters. Also, something has to give. You got 2 great offenses, 2 great defenses, one 13-3, one 15-1. The Panthers were 14-0 and had one of the greatest runs that we've seen by a team in recent memory, far as a team that finds ways to win despite the fact that they lack the typical offensive weapons we've seen by juggernauts like these, like the 2007 Patriots, or even the 2009 Saints and Colts, or even 2013 Broncos. They're just making it happen. So something has to give. I think the Panthers will win by 3. My biggest difference is they don't have Tyrann Mathieu. And Cam Newton has shown when the game gets close, all you will see is Super Cam. I got the Panthers winning. On the other side of the ball, we got Peyton Manning versus Brady, part 5 in the postseason. 11-5 all time versus Peyton Manning, but 2-2 in the AFC Championship. You have Peyton Manning, who's won in 2006 and 2013, and Brady won 2 other times when he eventually won the Super Bowl. Then you have also in this matchup, you have one great offense and an underrated defense in the Pats. Then you have a great defense and a very, very shaky offense. They're 19 points per game. By far the worst out of all the teams that are in the Final Four in the championship games this week. The Pats are top 10 in almost every statistical category on defense. 10 in points allowed, 9th in rushing, 8th in yards allowed. They could kind of be had as far as passing yards, but that's about it. Then you have the Broncos, top 4 in every statistical category, including first in yards and first in passing yards, led by a pass rush, including Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware. DeMarcus Ware, one of the greatest pass rushers of all time, and Von Miller is a stud in his own right. You have great corners and Aqib Talib. Chris Harris probably going to play spot because he's a little banged up. And just talent all across the board. If Denver's going to win this game, they're going to have to, A, run the ball, and Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware going to have to eat and feast off the weak offensive line of the pass. They have Nate Sauter on IR. They struggled offensively all of the last second half of the year, considering they've had 2 of their guys out, but both of them will be back, and Julian and Grump. And it definitely will be a show. I got the Broncos winning a close 1-2, but if Brady wins, I wouldn't even be surprised. Inside 380 is done with this one. We'll be talking about John Scott making the All-Star game.
6:20 to go. Barton coming in. Oh, 360 time! Wow. Well, we just found the drive of the game, I guess.
Hello, 380 is back. And John Scott, he is still in the All-Star game for the Pacific Division, despite the fact that in his career through 8 seasons, he has 11 career points. He gets 6 minutes at best amount of ice time. From the Coyotes, he was traded to the Canadiens, so he's not even in the West anymore. And he now plays for the AHL, which is the equivalent of the D-League in the NBA or Canadian football, to say the least. So my rationale is, why in the world is he in the All-Star game? Like, did people think that was funny? Like, you're wasting a spot that is rightly deserving of someone else much more talented and much more tantalizing to see than someone who barely plays at all. Now, some fans say it's, the blue-collar guy approach, want to reward those type of guys. This ain't a charity auction. This ain't baking cookies for grandma. This isn't the Make-A-Wish Foundation. No, this isn't any form where you're doing stuff to do a good deed. This is about the best and only the best showing out at the biggest weekend of NHL, and that's All-Star Weekend. So I really don't get the rationale. Now, it translates to maybe in basketball, people talk about the fans voting in guys that don't deserve it. The worst thing I've seen in basketball is guys that used to be great getting in based off their old resume. We call it the career All-Stars. Kobe Bryant, no disrespect to Kobe, is not an All-Star this year, but he'll get in because it's Kobe and this is his last year. You have guys like Kyrie Irving, who's barely played at all this season, missed half the games, but he'll be an All-Star because he's Uncle Drew. Or any other instance where you've seen a guy that didn't deserve a spot, but he got a spot. But I'm just a reporter, and all I am stating is facts. If the NHL knows what's good for them, they will clean up their act next year, because I didn't pay, nor, even if I didn't pay, do I want to see John Scott on NBC playing in the All-Star game. That's a travesty. That's Inside 380. Your host, Lamar L.A. Smith. We will get back to you with Cleveland.
Which I thought was pretty smart. They got Rogers backpedaling. He resets Starks. They are going to bring pressure again. Rogers is going to roll away, throws it up in the air, says a prayer, and Janis does it.
Stop it!
Oh, please!
What a catch!
That's insane!
Oh my, that may be one of the great throws ever made. Moving to his left, falling away and launching a perfect throw.
That's insane. Now go back. Of course, we have to watch this again. Did he have control? They look at it, it's a scoring play. Is it a catch?
This last segment of Inside 380, I want to open up a question to the populace. If Cleveland doesn't win this year, will LeBron ever bring a title to Cleveland? I'm going to let that sit in a little bit. My answer is no. See, you have Golden State and San Antonio out in the West. San Antonio is a constant sign of excellence, winning 50-plus games for 15 straight years, and they have Greg Popovich still sitting on the bench. You have the Warriors, who have all of their stars in their prime, and all 27 or younger, and some aren't even in their prime as far as their core. Then you have LeBron, who's 31, and last time I checked, you only get older and not younger. You can't just pull out a clicker in your pocket and be like, boom, I'm 6, boom, I'm 12, boom, I'm 14. No, last time I checked, I'm a 19-year-old young man, and I will remain 19 until I transcend, and hopefully I'll continue to get older until, you know, what happens next. So LeBron, if you haven't noticed, though he's very, very, very great, he is starting to slow down. And as he starts to slow down, his teammates are going to be asked to do more. And if his teammates don't step up to the occasion, it's not going to look good. You have Kevin Love, who is a 7-foot three-point shooter at this point. Then you have Kyrie Irving, who is very great on offense. Transcendent talent, one of the best players I've seen in the last 10 years. But on the defensive side of the ball, he lacks. You paid Tristan Thompson $80 million just to be a professional rebounder. You have J.R. Smith, who's hot and cold, and you don't know what you're going to get out of him some nights. You have Iman Shumpert, who, though goes off from the three-point line every now and again, mainly because LeBron James is a gifted magician of a passer, he still isn't that great of a shooter. You have guys in Mo Williams and Richard Jefferson who are past their primes. You have Timothy Mozgov, who you don't know how to intricate into the rest of the team right now. So I really don't get what's going on. Now, LeBron, he may win this year. He probably will make it out of the East, but he's been to the finals 5 years in a row. If he does it this year, they'll make it 6. You only get so many chances at a title. And last time I checked, I mean, he looks like he's running out. So that's Inside 380 with your boy, Lamar L.A. Smith. Check the rest of the Inside 385, the 385. Then check out the 380 Play of the Week. L.A. out.
Laughing by the end of it.
So now Arizona from the 20-yard line. Blitz coming, Matthews. Palmer stepping away at first. Palmer extending the play.
Nobody there.
Crosses the field. Larry Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald is going to take it into